Today on History's Tech, we are looking at the Bell P-59 Airacomet, the United States' first jet aircraft. This not as widely known aircraft is what pushed the United States to begin its development of jet aircraft and pushed the United States into the jet age. And while it was passed over in favor of the Lockheed P-80 Shooting Star, its contribution to the development of jet aircraft in the United States cannot be overlooked. Now, the story of the P-59 Airacomet begins with this man, General Henry H. Arnold, also known as HAP. In addition to being the protege of one of my favorite military generals, Billy Mitchell, he is actually considered a pioneer in terms of aviation in the military. After getting a demonstration of the British Gloster E-28, he decided it was time for the United States to get involved in jet aircraft development. General Hap Arnold managed to convince the British to give him the plans for the Powers Jet W-1 and their later W-2 B-23 engine, which become the basis for the American General Electric J-31, first domestically produced jet engine for the United States. After acquiring the jet engine, he immediately met with Lawrence Dale Bell, head of Bell Aircraft Corporation, to build him a fighter. Bell Aircraft had actually recently had a proposal for the Bell XP-59, a propeller-driven aircraft, canceled. So the United States Army Air Force began a disinformation campaign utilizing the former Bell XP-59 and stating that they were allowing the prototypes to be built, when in reality Bell was going to start building the prototype for the Bell XP-59A, a jet-powered aircraft. Design was finalized in January of 1942 and construction began immediately. Now, because the design was so secret, all prototype aircraft were given fake propellers so that people wouldn't know that this was an American-made jet aircraft. And even before production of the prototypes was done, 13 pre-production models were ordered. Now, while flight testing began by September of 1942, they would actually continuously flight test the aircraft for the next 2 years. And during this testing, they would discover a multitude of issues with the aircraft. The engines were underpowered, there were problems with the lateral and directional stability at over 290 miles per hour, and the aircraft tended to snake during this process, and it was a poor gunnery aircraft, meaning it wasn't ideal for shooting down other aircraft. Additionally, when put in simulated dogfights with the P-38 Lightning and the Republic P-47D Thunderbolt, it was found to be outperformed by these older aircraft, and it was decided that the initial order of 100 P-59 Airacomets would be canceled. Instead, only 50 aircraft would be produced, meaning that only the 3 prototypes, the 13 pre-production models, and the 50 new productions would be produced overall, leaving 66 aircraft to be produced. It was then decided that this aircraft would be utilized as a training aircraft for future jet fighter aircraft. For the remainder of its career, it was designated as a training aircraft. One of them would be traded to the Royal Air Force in exchange for a Gloster Meteor 1. And 5 of them would be given to the United States Navy as training aircraft. P-59's career would end in 1949, having a very short career, being rather quickly replaced with the much superior P-80 Shooting Star. There are currently 6 surviving P-59s in the world today. 4 of them are on display, 1 is currently in storage, and actually the 6th one is in the process of being restored to flying order, which means in a few years you may actually be able to see a P-59 Airacomet flying. But there you have it, a real quick look at the incredibly short-lived career of the P-59 Airacomet, an aircraft whose service record really only lasts for 7 years from its first flight to its eventual retirement. It was a crucial step in the development of jet aircraft for the United States. The shortcomings and failures of the P-59 Airacomet allowed the United States to instead adopt the development of the P-80 Shooting Star, which is going to push the United States towards its eventual dominance in jet development. And while this could be seen as a failure for Bell Aircraft, they would develop the Bell X-1, the first aircraft to intentionally break the sound barrier at leveled flight, thus starting the race for transonic flight. But that's it for today. Thank you for joining me, and I look forward to talking to you on the next time.